I'm Yuri.
I'm Jacob.
And we are going for a drive.
Rolling in my brain. I still feel the pain. Calling out my name. Thought they was my blood, but they sure they not the same. I like a big bitch. My bitch just like a wish. They like me, so I'm counting down my list.
2021 Audi R8
Spyder with launch control. So good.
horsepower and torque.
562 horsepower, 406 pound-feet of torque from a 5.2 liter V10.
Naturally aspirated.
That's why it's so good, Yuri. Song of my people. And I hit the limiter there because it sounds so good.
It's a little bit more fun to bang it off the limiter for an instant, and then that shift gives you a little bit more kick, and it sounds a little nicer.
It gives you like a single clutch jolt.
And this is an all-wheel drive quattro version.
Yes, because you can also get this in rear-wheel drive. Unfortunately, you can no longer get these in manual as of 2015.
And what is the starting price of one of these?
In US dollars, it's $154,900.
If you're shopping for a new Audi R8, click the TrueCar link in the top right corner for discounted price offers. And the competition for an Audi R8 is the C8, the McLaren 570S, an Huracan, a 911, an NSX, a Maserati Gran Turismo even, and then an Aston Martin Vantage and an AMG GT, and maybe even a Nissan GTR.
So we've driven all of those actually.
Except for a Maserati Gran Turismo.
Yes, that's right.
And as you can tell, that's something we're gonna try to introduce in future videos. The starting price and the competition. I hope you guys like the extra effort.
Also, drop a like on this video because apparently that's the new algorithm thing.
Thumb up, good.
Just like. You don't have to subscribe, just like.
Thumb down, bad.
So in this video, I primarily would like to talk about the driving experience of an R8 because we've driven a Huracan Spyder very recently, so that is fresh in our minds, so we can compare that to this. And this is a lot more chill version of a Huracan.
This is like subtle supercar and probably the only subtle mid-engine car you can buy.
Except a NSX. NSX is pretty subtle.
I think this is more subtle.
Really?
Yeah,
Dude.
debatable.
This has a V10.
The only subtle convertible supercar you can buy.
Okay, all right. So anyways, driving experience. It is so lovely to drive this every single day. It's nice and soft. We do have the magnetic suspension. It is lovely. It is softer than a comparable Huracan. It makes sense because this is slightly more grand touring than super sports car.
So the Huracan had 602 horsepower from the same engine. This one has 562, but in the States you can only get the Quattro Performance or the rear-wheel drive, and then the rear-wheel drive has like 530 horsepower.
Yeah, so it goes down with rear-wheel drive just so it's a little bit more controllable. It makes total sense.
Yeah, even though you don't need it because the Lambo was fine rear-wheel drive. But do you notice the little bit of less horsepower floor for me?
Yes, so I did want to address that right now. And it's not that it's slow, because this is definitely pretty quick, but it is a noticeable difference from the 602.
It's like there's a little bit more spank on your butt to go faster in the Huracan.
Because we've already driven the V10 Performance Coupe, which did have the exact same 602, and it is actually noticeable, which I didn't expect. It's only like, you know, a couple horsepower. It's not that big, but it is noticeable.
The price difference for it is really noticeable.
Yeah.
Really big.
And the biggest thing you notice about the driving experience is how dailyable it is. It's a relatively practical vehicle. It does have a frunk. Driving on the highway is really nice. It's actually not that loud to drive with the windows down and top down.
All the way down, there's no, which is weird. I think maybe because it's such a wide car compared to like everything else that's like a small, narrow Miata.
And we have the windows up right now for audio, but watch this. Just for a second, we'll just give the audience what it's like with, oh God, press the wrong button. That one, there we go. And this is what it's like with all the windows down.
I feel like it hasn't gotten any more painful.
No, it almost got less echoey in here.
Okay, let's put it back up.
Okay. And this 7-speed dual clutch is definitely faster than a Porsche PDK. Like, it is light. You breathe on these little paddles, which I'm going to do right now into Cliche Corner, and it shifts so fast. Like, oh my God, driving this through Cliche is such an experience because of that sound. Like, oh my God, I just love taking this thing to Redline. It'll take it all day. Love driving this.
Well, like Audis are cheater cars through Cliche. Every single Audi with Quattro, an RS1, feels so much faster than it should be.
Yeah, and this doesn't really understeer. Like, it's very neutral. I love how this handles. It's definitely more neutral than a comparable Huracan, which was rear-wheel drive, the most recent one that we drove.
Which I prefer less neutrality in a car like that.
I get it, yeah. But this is, again, the most dailyable version with slightly less power.
And then even if you want to drive very quietly and under the radar, you put it into comfort, you turn off your exhaust.
So let's just do that right now. And comfort.
Which automatically turns off your exhaust.
And it's dead quiet.
Dead quiet. But the only thing is when you start it up in the morning, it starts super loud no matter what, and then it'll like quiet down.
Yeah, so this one does have a valved exhaust. You can independently control it, and I love all these buttons on the steering wheel, but we'll get to that later. The sound of this V10 is so special that I feel like this is a step above basically every other car in this class just because of that naturally aspirated. Like, you're not gonna get that anymore. It's so special that, like, I feel like people really need to appreciate this stuff right now, because even Lambo said it's not gonna continue forever.
All right, and I get that, but years ago they had a manual transmission option, right?
2015 was the last year.
Okay, now play along with me. That little kid said your car's cool. Put it in neutral and rev at him.
Okay. That's pretty cool rev, Yuri.
You put it in neutral by holding both paddles, cool. And then the red line friggin' animates down to 3,000 and stops you at these broom, 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 broom. And they all do that. I checked the forums. There's no workarounds besides, I guess, tuning it.
Yeah.
And I think that really ruins the experience of this.
I don't think it ruins your experience. It's one factor that definitely...
Because the Lambo, same motor will let you do it.
Which makes sense, because the Lambo's a Lambo, so they have to save something for the Lambo.
Man, they're totally different companies. They're far enough that thing, you know what I mean?
But it's really nice for them to share this platform, because when you could get this with a manual, Audi out Lamborghini'd Lamborghini by offering a manual with a V10 and even the V8 as well.
Yeah, that was like the coolest last hurrah.
Yeah, so I think that is one of the most special R8s that you can buy. Any of the manual gated V10s or even V8s. That is so cool.
We have to try them one day.
We should. Okay, there's a lot more to talk about. Let's get you behind the driver's seat of this amazing vehicle. But one last... So good.
And I'll try to get it to launch without bogging down at 5,000 RPM at first.
Yes, you fully turn off traction.
Traction all the way off.
Send it. Oh. Okay.
Track mode.
Yes. Sounds so good. 0 to 60 in just under 3.5 seconds.
So that launch is pretty good, but it does kind of ease in. It's not as violent as you would expect.
It's not as violent as a Lambo, and the numbers do show that.
And like not nearly as like quick and snappy and hook up-ish as a 911 Turbo.
Oh no, God no. Turbo S is like mental.
It's a completely different experience. But then I guess the Turbo S doesn't sound nearly as amazing, and the Taycan doesn't sound nearly as close as cool at all.
No, and then there's an e-tron GT, which is a Taycan as well.
Yeah, exactly. it's literally exactly a Taycan, isn't it? With hard buttons.
Apparently, we haven't driven one yet.
Okay, now something that I kind of have an issue about this car, the paddles.
They are baby paddles.
Oh,
Okay, you still have an issue?
I mean, they were a little bit like bigger, metal, something like that. The Huracan had the paddles mounted to the column. That's completely different than this. But like, man, at least metal paddles. And into cliche.
It sounds so good.
So on to the looks. We had the coupe before. Do you like the looks of the Spyder more?
I wouldn't say more, but I still really like it.
I like the Spyder. I also like the coupe. I don't know which one I would pick because I love being convertible, but it is nice seeing that V10 in the back.
I love hearing it in this convertible right now. It's just the sound experience right now.
But I do really like how that side carbon fiber color thing goes up a lot higher on coupes than it does on convertibles.
The side blades?
Yeah, but it looks really awesome right here.
Yeah, because once you step up to the all-wheel drive one, you actually get them standard, which is very interesting because it used to be an option.
And then what do you think of this color red? Would you get it in red or would you stick to a darker color?
No, I'd definitely get this in like red or even yellow.
Silver for me, dude.
Oh, really?
Silver R8?
Yeah,
You know why?
Because you want to blend in and settle?
Because Iron Man.
Iron Man?
Iron Man.
Yeah.
Everything goes back to Iron Man. Hey, should we do some Iron Man stuff with this R8 since Iron Man drove one in the second and first movie?
What kind of Iron Man stuff?
Like wear an Iron Man mask or an Iron Man hand or have some Iron Man gear?
I am Iron Man.
Thanks to Hacksmith. Definitely watch our Cybertruck review that those guys built.
James is like our own Canadian Iron Man.
He definitely is.
Tony Stark.
Tony Stark, yeah.
And then our headlights are pretty good, nice daytime running lights. We've got that big grille, but with the plate in the middle, it's actually not that bad. It kind of evens it out a little bit.
Yeah, and then we do have the 3 scoops just below the front. Headlights, like you said, look really good. Moving around to the side, love these wheels.
Yeah, they're pretty good, but you can't get them on the top performance model
Ah, interesting.
in the States.
Okay.
But what would be the Continental recommended tire for an Audi R8?
The Sport Contact 6.
Moving on to the back end, pretty decent taillights.
Yeah, really nice.
If we move down, we've got nice big oval exhaust because it is an R model.
And you can't see the valves in there.
Let's hear it from the... Sorry, guys.
Too bad you can't rev it all the way to 9,000 when you're sitting there.
In the forums, though, I did read that I wish there was a way I could rev it so that I didn't have to do launch control to show off my exhaust.
Yes.
And the carbon fiber stuff on top where the engine compartment is very cool. We can pop that up and see a little bit of things there. So overall, looks-wise, we like the looks of this more than any of the competitors that we mentioned early on.
Oh man, that's tough.
Because
looks-wise?
For me, I don't want a subtle sports car supercar, so it's not my top pick. But I can see for a lot of people, like in a darker color, this would be like a lot more under the radar.
Yeah, I mean, I'd go Huracan. You kind of have to.
I think I'd go 570.
Yeah, I can see
I
that.
love the 570.
The doors go up. Yeah.
And now moving inside, one of the coolest things about this is there's no infotainment screen.
But it's also kind of one of the worst things about it.
The infotainment screen goes into the gauge cluster and it is very tricky to get used to. I think you can figure it out if you spend a lot of time with this, like maybe 3 weeks or a month, you'll be like really dialed. You can control it all from your steering wheel buttons and from our command center down here, which makes it pretty easy. But we lost our power and torque meter and we don't know how to get it back.
Yeah, you do have to play around with the gauges to get them exactly how you want. You do have a center tack, which is amazing. I love seeing that. And your Apple CarPlay is in your center gauges, just like your reverse camera.
Yeah, it's the only thing I don't like about it is that when you get a call or something, it changes your gauge cluster, so you lose your tack. You still see it at the bottom, but this tack is great. The shift lights, how they turn orange and then green and then red. I love all that stuff. Well, I guess it's green, orange, then red.
Yeah, and then now that the Huracan actually has a center stack with Apple CarPlay in the middle, I actually think that the Huracan has a better infotainment setup.
It's one of the best infotainments for a supercar. But unlike that Ferrari Roma, the steering wheel, we still have the engine start stop button on it.
Oh my God. Okay, so now let's talk about these buttons. It's a big red button, just how I want it. Love that. We do have the valved exhaust. We do have the race flag, which is our performance modes. Yuri, what performance modes do we have?
After we push the flag button, we can turn the dial to wet, dry, or snow. Then if our drive select button gets pushed, we've got comfort, auto, dynamic, and then individual.
Yeah, great driving modes. Love having them on the wheel.
Yes, I pretty much just went to race mode and manually shifted the whole time, and then I'm in charge of my RPMs, and the ride wasn't too brutal at all.
No, the ride comfort is, like, I can't say enough good things about this magnetic ride.
And then as for the rest of the interior, our climate controls are super easy to use. That's nice, but we only have heated, not cooled seats. And I think that's because we have the quilted option. I think you might be able to get cooled seats in the regular option.
Yeah, on a day like today, I am really missing cooled seats. Like that is my biggest criticism of the car. We do have the carbon option on the interior and it looks amazing. Like swooping in and out everywhere, love it.
And we have it on the exterior as well. And then if we move on to the rest of the interior, we have a normal-ish shifter, which is pretty easy to use.
Yeah, everything's great.
Cup holders, I would say, are okay. We push this button and this goes up.
Yeah.
They did not prioritize drinking in this, but I like to have a coffee pretty much every time I go anywhere and I got to do this back thing. But I would understand the reason why an R8 was designed with not cup holders in mind.
What about the visors? Let's see if the, okay, no.
Supercar pass.
Yeah, we've already determined this is a supercar, judging by our previous Huracan review and our R8 Coupe review.
And then we have an amazing spot for the cell phone, which
yes,
I love.
Wireless charging.
But wired CarPlay, which is the best. And then below that, we've got our traction off button and our parking sensor button, which will only pop up a rear camera. I would love a 360 camera, but also not the end of the world.
Yeah, it's very practical in here. The overall driving experience is so nice and pleasant.
The one thing that I would probably give this against all of its competition is you could drive this in the winter and in the summer with absolutely no issues, where a lot of the other cars, like, would you drive a 570S in the winter?
Probably not.
It probably wouldn't be, it'd be fun, but it probably wouldn't be as ideal.
Because we've driven the McLarens in the winter, like the GT and stuff, and the way that the traction cuts the power is like, holy, it cuts a lot.
You got to change a lot of options around to make it the way we would want it.
Yes.
So with all of that stuff out of the way, do you think it's time we get to the price?
Let's get to the price. This one starts at $180,800.
Canadian.
And this one is $225,135.
And pricing out a US model with Quattro will come out to about $220,000 US, but that has to be a performance model.
Yeah, with comparable options, because you don't actually get the same engine configuration in the US.
Exactly. So that price for a V10 is kind of probably the best price you can get for a new V10.
Right, exactly. Because you can't get a Lambo for that price. The Lambo starting price of a Spyder would be slightly higher than where this one ends, basically.
And that Lambo would be rear-wheel drive.
Yes.
So it's kind of a bargain since the only V10, really.
Yeah, and I would highly recommend just buying a used one, like a 2014, 2015 with a manual gated transmission. Those are gonna skyrocket in value, I think.
Don't tell people that.
Yeah, sorry guys, don't buy one, because I gotta buy one for less than everyone's buying them right now.
Okay, now would you take this, the way you are right now as the person you are, over any of that competition we mentioned earlier?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Like, even if you get a brand new C8, obviously a much less, it would get a lot more attention than this, I think, at the current time.
Yeah, but you still don't get that V10 sound. I would actually just go Huracan if I had the money for it.
If I had the money, I think I would go McLaren.
Yeah.
Just because the doors go up, and I think it's just like a slightly different sound, but very similar.
Yeah, so this is great because if you want something that you can daily the most, this is subtle. Yes, it's going to get a lot of attention, but it's not going to get that much, especially if you're getting black or something like that. And the suspension is the most comfortable. It's kind of comparable to a McLaren because McLarens have really good suspension, but a McLaren will draw so much more attention.
If we were 20 years older,
This.
Yeah.
And if you're shopping for a new Audi R8 and you live in the United States, click the TrueCar link below. There's a discount when using the StraightPipes link.
You can also shop for used Audi R8s using TrueCar, and if you live in Canada, there's a Car Help Canada link below. So let us know which one you would pick in the comments below.
And don't forget to watch some of our other videos of those comparable supercars and non-supercars.